Hey there. Before we begin, I want to know something simple, but meaningful. Where are you listening from right now? And what time is it for you? Leave a comment. I really do love knowing who's out there, and when in time you're tuning in from. Now, would you do something for me? Grab a blanket. Settle in. Close your eyes if you can. Maybe turn on a fan or some soft background noise. Ready? Let's go back together. Not far. Just back in time. To the year 1943. Imagine you are me. My name is Anil. I'm 16. And I live in a small village near Tamluk, in Bengal. You wake on a rough jute mat. The mat is damp. The roof leaked again last night. Your stomach? Empty. But not loudly. It just aches in silence. You sit up slowly. Bones stiff. Chest hollow. Beside you, your little brother doesn't stir. Or maybe he's pretending. Hunger teaches you to stay still. Outside, it's gray. Thick clouds. But rain means little when there's no harvest left to save. You rise and step outside. The world feels muted, as if the monsoon clouds have swallowed every sound. Mud squelches between your toes. You kneel by the pond, once clear, now the color of weak tea, and scoop a single cupful for your little brother. You whisper, just sip, though you know it tastes of rust and algae. Across the lane, a bullock cart rumbles past. Not laden with grain, but with a body wrapped in a torn sari. No wails follow it, only the creak of the wheel. You think about life today, in 21st century cities, refrigerators purring, grocery apps promising delivery in 10. Here, in 1943, delivery means a thin ration if the train tracks aren't flooded. And if soldiers don't claim it first. You clutch the tin cup tighter. The metal is cool, a tiny mercy against the sticky air. Somewhere a radio crackles with news of distant battles. You wonder how many miles away a newspaper headline can feel. Here, the battle is silent. Hunger has no anthem, no trumpet, only the slow ache inside every rib. Noon creeps in, heavy and wet. The sun is no friend, it only dries the last puddles where rice might have sprouted. You join the queue at the relief shed, a bamboo frame, a ragged flag fluttering above sack-stamped government grain. Each person is given one ladle. Yours looks like 2 spoonfuls of dust-colored rice. You remember hearing a modern phrase, all-you-can-eat buffet. Imagine that, tables bending under food, people leaving plates half-finished. Here, 2 spoonfuls are an argument between body and spirit. Which part of you will take them first? A man behind you stumbles. He is maybe 30, yet his hair has silvered. You help him stand, but he waves you off. Pride is the last thing famine tries to steal. The shed empties. Soldiers lock the door. A dog noses at fallen grains. Even animals have learned to queue. You tuck the rice in a palm leaf pouch, telling yourself the ache is weaker now. Though it isn't. Evening drapes the village in smoky orange. You sit with your brother beside a dying cooking fire. You split the rice, one mouthful for him, one for you, one for mother, though she pretends she isn't hungry. Stories used to fill nights here, folk tales, cricket scores, gossip about cinema stars. Tonight, the only story is survival, whispered so softly even the fire strains to hear. You glance at the sky. Through the haze, a few stars persist. Somewhere, decades ahead, people stream movies under electric LEDs, complaining when Wi-Fi drops for a minute. You would trade every bright screen for a single full bowl. A breeze stirs the thatch. You pull your brother close, become his blanket. Tomorrow, you promise, we'll find more. Hope is thin, but it is the only currency famine cannot inflate. The night hums, insects, distant thunder, and the quiet rhythm of hearts choosing to keep beating. Rest now. We will wake again. And the story will continue. Morning returns. Your stomach is no different, hollow and quiet. But your heart, somehow, still beats with resolve. You help your brother wash his face with a damp cloth. Water is too precious to waste on comfort. You hear murmurs that someone in the next village found a field with wild roots. Not food, exactly, but something to chew. So you walk again. Fields stretch like open palms, begging for rain, for crops, for mercy. You pass an abandoned home. The door swings loose. Once, children lived here. Their chalk marks still linger faintly on the mud walls. In 2025, people worry about screen time for kids. Here, we just wish the children were still here to worry about anything at all. You reach the field. It's mostly barren. A few green stalks poke out, bitter yam, maybe. You dig with your hands. Fingers raw, nails caked with earth. It's not enough. But it is something. On the way home, you pass a wedding, or what remains of one. A bride, no older than you, sits quietly. Her red sari is dusty. There's no feast. Only prayers. Even love, here, must learn to starve. You remember stories of weddings in other times. Full platters, music that echoed through mango groves, laughter. Today, the only music is wind moving through hollow homes. Back in your hut, your brother claps when he sees the roots you carry. They're small. Tough. But enough to boil. Your mother smiles, barely. But a smile, still. That's victory. Night falls. Smoke curls up from a clay stove. A single flame dances. You eat slowly. Each bite a rebellion. Each swallow a prayer. Later, you lie beside your brother. The ground is hard. But you are warm beside him. You think of those far ahead in time. Soft beds. Endless choices for dinner. Complaints about weather apps not working. Here, the weather is your ruler. The sky decides everything. And yet, tonight, you feel something gentle in the breeze. Hope, perhaps. Or just the gift of one more breath. You close your eyes. You survived another day. And in 1943 Bengal, that is enough. Dawn breaks again. But you no longer rush to open your eyes, because waking means remembering. You stretch your limbs slowly. Every joint feels older than your age. You look at your mother, she's been up for hours. Eyes sunken, cheeks hollow, but hands still steady as she braids her hair. There's no rice left. Not even scraps. So, today, the plan is different. You'll walk to the relief line in the district town. 10 miles. One way. You carry your brother on your back. He's too weak to walk far. His ribs press into you like the frame of a broken kite. Along the path, you see others, thin shadows of what they once were. Some whisper prayers. Others don't speak at all. A child sits by the roadside, her head leaning against a tree. She does not blink. No one checks on her. We've all learned what stillness like that means. Hours pass. Dust coats your mouth. Your brother's breathing slows, not asleep, just saving strength. You finally reach the district office. Relief workers are shouting. No more grain. Come back tomorrow. They cry. Tomorrow? That word feels almost like mockery. But there's a woman there. A stranger. She sees your brother's face. She pulls a piece of dry roti from her cloth bag. She places it in your hand without a word. You want to fall at her feet. But all you manage is a nod. That small gesture, in this world, is a miracle. You break the roti into pieces, give most to your brother. He chews like it's a festival treat. Your own hunger growls, but you let it. His smile, that is food enough for now. On the way back, you pass a man reading a newspaper aloud. There is no famine, he says. Just food shortages. You almost laugh. Almost. Your stomach speaks louder than any denial. In the paper's world, the trains still run. The empire thrives. The markets are full. But here? Here, a handful of boiled leaves is a feast. Back in 2025, you'd scroll past headlines. Prices up. Markets down. Another political scandal. But in 1943 Bengal, we read faces. Not newsprint. And every face here tells the same story. Hunger has a language of its own. The next morning brings news. A ration truck is coming near the train station. You tie your brother to your hip with a cloth sling and begin the long walk. The road is quieter now. Fewer footsteps. Fewer voices. When you reach the station, a line is already formed, long and coiled like a hungry snake. You join at the end. You don't speak. No one does. Time drips like sweat from your skin. The sun sits high, unbothered. Finally, you glimpse the truck. A metal beast in a sea of bones. But the sacks they unload, only 3. Not nearly enough. Panic stirs. A man runs forward. He's struck down with a stick. You hold your brother tighter. You hope, not for food, but for escape, from this crush of desperation. The sacks empty fast. People scream. Some faint. You are pushed, elbowed. But somehow you end up with a small metal bowl, barely half filled with a watery porridge. Your brother claps his hands. He doesn't care what it is. You let him eat first. His lips touch the edge and he sighs. It's real, it's warm. You take 2 spoonfuls, then stop. It has to last. You sit under a banyan tree. A leaf falls beside you, dry and curled. A few feet away, a man sings softly to no one. His voice is cracked, but the melody carries something ancient. Songs of soil. Of rain. Of life before hunger. You close your eyes, just for a moment, and imagine a full plate. On the way back, you pass the railway tracks. Freight cars sit there, full of grain, sealed and guarded. You stop. Others do too. The guards don't speak, but their rifles are loud in meaning. You wonder, why is this food not for us? But in 1943, questions like that disappear into silence. You walk again. Your brother hums a tune. You join him. Hunger hasn't taken everything, not yet. There's still music. Still walking. Still moments between moments. And sometimes, that's enough. Back home, your mother speaks of a friend who might know someone at a rice mill. She wants to try, but she can't walk far anymore. So you volunteer. Again. Your brother clings to your leg. He wants to come. You convince him to stay, promise to bring back a miracle. The road to the mill is longer, rockier. But you know these lands. You used to play here as a child, chase butterflies, pick wild flowers. Now, all you chase is survival. At the mill, a man greets you. His eyes are kind, but tired. He hands you a tin of chaff, not rice. Just the husks. Boil it long enough, he says, and you might taste something. You carry the tin home like it's treasure. Your mother grinds the husks. Adds water. Boils it until dusk. The smell, faint, earthy, not unpleasant. You serve it in clay bowls. The 3 of you sit in a triangle. And eat. The texture is rough. The flavor, barely there. But your brother grins with every bite. You kept your promise, he says. You nod. You did. Outside, the wind carries dust and the scent of mustard flowers. Far off, someone still grows them. Tomorrow is unknown. But tonight you ate. That night, the air feels colder. Your brother sleeps curled into your side. You wrap your arms around him, whispering a lullaby your mother once sang. It's barely a tune now, more memory than music. Outside, a dog howls. A reply echoes in the distance. You wonder if they're calling out to each other, the way hungry souls do. You think of warm beds in faraway cities. Pillows, blankets, soft lamps. But all you have is this, a straw mat, your brother's heartbeat, and a lullaby fading with the night. You fall asleep with your hands clasped, not in prayer, but in habit. Because by now, even hope feels like something you must ration. Dawn breaks with a knock. A neighbor, skeletal and wide-eyed, brings news. A relief center is distributing biscuits. Actual biscuits. Your mother hesitates. Could be a rumor. Or a trap. But you don't wait. You gather your cloth bag, tighten the knot at your waist, and set off. As you walk, you pass more bodies than you did yesterday. Some are still. Some groan softly. The line at the center winds around the block. But this time, it moves. Slowly. When you reach the front, you receive a paper packet, 3 thin biscuits. You look at them in disbelief. Food. Not dreams. Not roots or husks. You don't eat them. Not yet. You run home, cradling them like glass. Back home, your brother squeals with delight. You break one biscuit in half, give him a piece. His teeth sink in, crumbs spill over his lips. He licks his fingers. It's sweet, he says. You can't remember the last sweet thing you tasted. Your mother refuses her share. Give it to the boy, she says. You insist. She takes a small bite, tears welling up, from taste or memory, you don't ask. The packet empties quickly, but it feels like a feast. Later, you press your ear against your brother's chest. His heartbeat, steady, strong, sounds like hope. Maybe you can keep going. One biscuit at a time. Days pass. The rains don't come. But the army trucks do. Soldiers throw leaflets into the streets. Words you can barely read, promises of grain, if villagers register. You don't trust it. But you go. What choice is there? At the camp, an officer looks at you, your sunken cheeks, your brother's thin arms. He scribbles something on a paper and sends you to the next tent. Inside, you receive a small sack, flour, not rice. Still, it's more than you've seen in weeks. Back home, your mother turns it into flatbreads. Hard, dry, but filling. That night, you all sleep with heavy stomachs for the first time in months. It's not peace. But it's pause. A small mercy. In the morning, the sun rises orange and slow. You wake before the others. Step outside. The village is quiet. Birds chirp. A sound that once annoyed you, now feels like music. You think of a time, maybe years from now, when you'll tell this story. Of how you survived famine. How biscuits tasted like gold. How silence became a lullaby. Maybe someone in the future will listen, from a soft bed, under warm light. And maybe they'll understand, that every life, no matter how fragile, holds fire. You walk back in, smile at your sleeping family. Another day begins. And you are still here. At dawn, you rise to the sound of coughing, dry, harsh, your mother's. She waves it off, but her eyes are duller than yesterday. You want to believe it's just tiredness. But in Bengal, tiredness can mean something worse. You soak a cloth in cool water and press it to her forehead. Your brother watches, quiet. You tell him she's just resting. A small lie, shaped like love. A neighbor stops by, one of the last who still visits. He whispers about a British officers' camp nearby. They've seen supply crates being unloaded. Your mother hears. She barely speaks above a whisper. Go. You nod. You don't ask if she'll be okay, some things are too fragile to question. You tie on your brother's sandals. They're too small now, but still hold together. Then you begin walking again, dust rising around your ankles like ghost hands. The road to the camp winds through dying fields. Once, these paths led to villages where harvest festivals were held, where the smell of steaming rice mixed with marigolds. Now, the fields only carry wind and silence. You reach a checkpoint. A soldier stands with his back to you, uniform pressed, boots clean. He sees you, but doesn't speak. Just waves a hand, go away. You hold your ground. Gently, you point to your mouth. Then to your brother's sandals, hanging from your shoulder now. The soldier sighs. He tosses a biscuit to the dirt. Just one. It lands near your foot. You hesitate, then pick it up. It crumbles easily. Sweet, salty, strange. You split it in half and carry it home like a holy relic. Even crumbs feel sacred now. Your mother is asleep when you return. Too still. Your brother is drawing circles in the dust with a stick. You give him the biscuit. He eats slowly, reverently. You chew the smaller piece. Let it sit on your tongue as long as possible. It's gone too quickly. But the taste lingers like memory. That night, your mother speaks, barely. Her voice is a thread. Keep going. You promise her you will. Outside, someone cries. A baby, perhaps. Or just a grown man who forgot how to hold in sorrow. Your brother sleeps with his arm around your waist. The biscuit wrapper crinkles beside him. He saved it. Maybe to dream with. You dream of rain. Cool, silver rain soaking cracked earth. You see your father digging canals again. Singing while he works. You wake up to sunlight instead. Blinding, dry. Your lips are cracked. You reach for a tin bowl, empty. Your brother is awake, watching you. You both don't say much these days. Words feel expensive. You crush a leftover root with a stone. Mix it with a little water. Enough for a few sips. It's bitter. But wet. You remember the tea stalls from your childhood, steam rising, people laughing. Here, the only steam is from makeshift stoves. And no one laughs much anymore. That afternoon, a rumor spreads, a boat has arrived at the river bend. People say it carries rice, jaggery, maybe even salt. You don't believe it. But still, you walk. The river is dry at the edges, muddy in the middle. But sure enough, a boat. Not large. Not painted. But real. Men are unloading sacks. Carefully. You inch closer. So does everyone else. A man stands on a crate and says only those with tokens will receive food. Tokens? None of you have those. Some argue. Others plead. One man collapses. You take your brother's hand and step back. Safety now means knowing when to leave. As you walk home, you spot a figure slumped under a neem tree. A girl, your age. Maybe younger. Her skin is tight over bones. She's holding a brass anklet in her hand. Not wearing it, just holding it. You sit beside her. Offer her a piece of root. She shakes her head. You don't speak. Just sit. Sometimes that's enough. She hums a tune, soft and broken. You recognize it, a lullaby. Her voice fades before the final note. You close her hand gently over the anklet. Then you walk home, slower than usual. That evening, your mother has a fever. You press your forehead to hers. It's burning. You soak a rag and dab her skin. Over and over. She murmurs about mangoes. Sweet, ripe mangoes. Your brother fetches the crushed husks from earlier. He thinks it might help. It won't. But you let him believe. Hope is a fragile kind of medicine. You sit through the night. Watching. Waiting. Praying. Not to any god in particular, just to the sky, the wind, the very air. Let her see the morning. Night deepens. You lie awake, listening to your brother's steady breathing. Your mother stirs sometimes, murmurs names from another time. Her mother. Her village. Her childhood dog. You wonder if your memories will someday fade into whispers like that. You close your eyes and try to remember the taste of mango pickle. The feel of a sari just washed. The sound of temple bells echoing through a busy morning. But hunger changes memory. It softens it. Or maybe it hardens it, like stone that used to be bread. You finally drift into sleep just before dawn. When you wake, your brother is already up, tracing patterns in the dust with his fingers. Look, he says. A river. You smile at the squiggly lines. It's beautiful, you whisper. He nods, serious. It's full of fish. You play along. We'll catch them all. Cook them on a fire. For a moment, you both see it. The pretend feast. The pretend joy. And in this world of less than nothing, a little imagination feeds more than air. That day, you find a small coin in the dirt. A single pesa, bent, muddy, nearly worthless. But it shines. Just enough. You clean it on your skirt and walk to the edge of the village. There's a boy there, no older than you. He sells broken biscuits, bits of betel leaf, and crushed pepper in little piles on a cloth. He eyes your coin. Then the tin can in your hand. You offer both. He shrugs. Takes them. Hands you 3 slivers of biscuit, cracked, half damp, precious. You run home with them cupped like seeds. Your brother squeals when he sees. Your mother doesn't speak, but her hand rests on your hair for a while. You split the biscuits. One for him. One for her. One for you. The sweetness, faint as it is, feels like a festival. You chew slowly. The world, for one moment, slows with you. Later, clouds gather, thick, gray, full of promise. Your brother shouts, pointing at the sky. It's coming. Rain. You step outside. The air smells like earth ready to sing. A drop hits your cheek. Another, your forehead. Then it pours. You laugh. Really laugh. Your brother spins in circles. Your mother lifts her face toward the heavens. Her mouth open, catching drops like prayers. You place pots, pans, even your hands under the rain. You dance. Not because life is better, but because it still exists. The dust on the leaves runs in streaks. Mud forms. Children come out, stomping barefoot. For these few minutes, hunger pauses. Grief pauses. Only rain remains. And the sound of children, not crying, but laughing. That night, your mother speaks softly about her own childhood. Of Durga Puja pandals glowing with lanterns. Of sweet syrup dripping from rasgullas. Of cousins laughing in courtyards. You listen, eyes closed, letting the images form. She says, back then, they never thought food could disappear. That hunger could become a shadow that never leaves. You wonder what your own children, someday, might ask. What did rice taste like? Why did the rain stop? You don't know how you'd answer. Later, your brother asks if the gods can see them now. You look up at the sky. It's wide, open, and silent. Maybe they can. Maybe they can't. But you say, yes. Because hope, here, is as sacred as grain. In the morning, you notice a man outside the hut. He's from the town committee. A new relief list is being made. Names are needed. And proof. Your mother hands you a torn paper, the edge of your father's old ration card. You walk to the camp. The line stretches again. Time loses shape. When you reach the front, the clerk barely looks at you. No full card, no entry, he says. You beg. You show the piece of paper. You explain. He sighs. Looks again. Then writes something down. Your name. Your brother's. Your mother's. A thin thread of possibility. He gives you a small token, wood, carved, with the number 27. You clutch it tightly. It's not rice. It's not dal. But it's a chance. You run back, wind catching your hair. Your brother sees the token and dances. You tell your mother everything, how he hesitated, how he almost said no, how your voice cracked when you pleaded. She puts her hand on your head and says, "Your voice is strong." You don't feel strong. But you smile anyway. Later, you rest under the neem tree. Villagers gather there sometimes, trading small rumors and hope. You hear of a woman who traded her gold bangles for a bag of flour. Of a boy who walks 20 kilometers each day for a single handful of grain. And yet, they still walk. Still trade. Still believe. You realize, survival here is not just about food. It's about will. And the will to believe that tomorrow might feed you. The next morning is different. A stillness sits over the village. No new smoke. No sounds of pots or grinding stones. You walk quietly. Even the birds seem to have left. At the far end, a body is being wrapped, a young man. He had waited too long for help that never came. You pause, unsure what to feel. Grief here comes in whispers, not wails. The family has no wood for a proper pyre. They will burn twigs. Bits of old furniture. You turn away, heart heavy. Death walks here like a neighbor. Always near. Always quiet. But you are still breathing. And that breath carries weight. That afternoon, clouds roll in again. Thick. Heavy. True monsoon clouds. Everyone looks up. Hopes rise with every gust of wind. Then, the first drop. You hold out your hands. The rain begins, not a drizzle, but a downpour. You and your brother step outside. Let yourselves be soaked. Your mother places bowls outside, catching every drop. You breathe in deep. The scent of wet earth. Of new chances. Of life. Not all hunger is gone. But water flows. And tonight, that will be enough. Morning light seeps through the thatched roof. Your brother is still asleep, curled like a cat. You stare at the ceiling, wondering how long before it collapses in the next storm. There are whispers that disease is spreading. The kind born from hunger and filth. You step out, careful not to wake anyone. The village smells like sweat and dust, and now, something sourer. A woman coughs behind a shutter. Someone else spits blood near the well. You wash your face quickly and leave. At the edge of the fields, you find a girl. Maybe 10. Her eyes sunken. She's chewing a torn sari corner. You give her a piece of the rice husk ball from last night. She takes it and runs. That was your breakfast. But strangely, you feel full. Not in the belly. In the chest. As you return, you hear a voice. A man from town, he's shouting names. Relief list. Distribution. You rush toward him, heart pounding. He calls your family's name. Your number, 27. You're handed a cloth sack. Inside, half a kilo of rice, a pinch of salt, and a matchbox. Not enough. But better than dreams. You run home, shouting. Your mother holds the sack like it's gold. That night, she prepares khichdi, rice and water, mostly, with the illusion of dal. Your brother licks his bowl clean. You look at the flickering flame and feel something strange. Gratitude. Even here. Even now, you sit outside under the stars. The sky in Bengal is enormous, velvet dark with silver threads. You imagine someone in 2025, maybe you, reborn, watching stars from a rooftop cafe, sipping something cold. You wonder if they remember you. Your breath becomes visible. The air is cooling. You talk softly to the night. Stay kind. Keep us. The wind responds in sighs. You close your eyes, listening. The world still spins. You are still here. The next day, soldiers arrive. Not many, just a few. They question the village headman. One of them is young. His boots shine. He looks like he hasn't missed a meal. You hide behind a fence, watching. They check lists. Talk about grain shipments. None of it for you. The young soldier drops a biscuit from his pack. Accidentally. You wait till they leave. Then crawl, pick it up, brush it clean. You split it 3 ways. Later, when your brother asks what kind it was, you say, hope flavored. A man arrives from the city. Says he's writing about the famine. Carries a notebook, asks questions. You don't trust him, but you answer. He writes down everything. Your name. Your story. Why do you want to know? You ask. So people remember, he says. You nod, unsure. Memory doesn't feed the hungry. But perhaps it plants something. The man gives you a biscuit. Like the soldiers. You give it to your mother. She cries, quietly. Rain returns. Sudden, heavy. The kind that drowns fields and floods memories. Your roof leaks. Pots are moved. Mats are soaked. But you laugh. Your brother dances. Water is still a gift. Even when it's too much. You fill jars, mugs, whatever you can find. Your mother whispers, maybe the soil will forgive us now. You repeat her words like a prayer. Maybe it will. As water drains away, green sprouts rise. Tiny, shy, but alive. Neighbors gather, pointing, smiling for the first time in weeks. You feel the pull of something changing. No one says the word hope out loud. It's fragile. But it's there. In glances. In half smiles. You plant seeds your mother saved in a folded cloth. Not much. But enough. Enough to say, we are still here. We still believe in tomorrow. That evening, fireflies return. Dozens. Hundreds. Like fallen stars. Your brother chases them. You join. You laugh, truly laugh. It's not food. Not medicine. But it's healing. The old woman next door watches and claps. She hums a lullaby. You remember the tune from when you were small. You hum it now, as you gather your brother and head inside. Outside, stars blink. Inside, hearts do too. In the distance, you hear drums. A small temple is holding a prayer night. Your mother wants to go. She hasn't left home in days. So you carry a lantern. Walk slowly. The path is muddy, but her steps are steady. Inside the temple, the priest chants. A bell rings. Someone offers a handful of puffed rice as prasad. You divide it 3 ways, again. The god's statue stares forward, stone, unmoving. But you swear its eyes soften, just a little. That night, you dream of the future. Of full schools, full plates, full hearts. Of people remembering not just your hunger, but your courage. You see yourself, older, wiser, telling stories of this time. Not with bitterness. But with strength. You wake with the dawn. And for the first time, the sky seems to glow, not with fire, but with promise. The famine hasn't ended. But maybe. Your story is just beginning. Dawn finds you kneeling at the new sprouts. Tiny blades, bright against the drab earth. You whisper good morning to them, as though they are children needing courage. Your brother crouches beside you, drawing guard lines in the soil with a twig, promising the plant's protection. Somewhere beyond the hedges a crow caws, sharp as a warning bell. You answer with a stone pitched just close enough to scare, not wound. The village elders gather, discussing pests, floods, soldiers, price controls, anything that might steal this fragile future. One elder says the Japanese have fallen back in Burma, the war could shift. Another mutters the rail lines are still seized, grain still rolling east, not home. You listen, tasting every word the way you once tasted mango pulp, searching for sweetness. At noon the sun flares white, you shade the seedlings with folded palm leaves, sacrifice your own shadow so green may survive. Hunger growls, yet a strange fullness settles, something like purpose, or prayer. Afternoon heat shimmers, bending the distant banyan into a wavering shape, half mirage, half memory. You trek to the tank, 2 clay pots clinking on a bamboo yoke. Water is lower, but clear, monsoon runoff has filtered through sand, leaving a hint of sweetness on the tongue. Villagers queue politely, each guarding hope in earthenware. No pushing today, thirst has taught patience, or resignation. A widow hums a Badi Ali boat song while filling pitchers. Her voice is thin, yet it ripples across the surface, turning the tank into a river of yesterday. You join the refrain, surprising yourself with harmony. For a breath length the cue is a choir, grief modulating into grace. Pots full, neck stiff, you walk home through golden dust, singing still. Your brother hears you far off, runs out, claps time, turns the path into a festival corridor. Music cannot be rationed, it spills, overflows, nourishes places rice cannot reach. Evening brings a traveling Vaidya, a village healer, carrying satchels of neem bark, turmeric, castor oil, hope. He checks your mother's pulse, feels the heat behind her eyes, nods thoughtfully. From a pouch he measures mustard seeds, grinds them with honey, instructs her to swallow tiny pinches through the night. Payment? Merely a place by the hearth and a ladle of thin gruel. Kindness trades at a different price than markets know. He tells stories while the pot simmers, of ponds that filled overnight, of lost calves returning, of grain boats diverted by petitions signed in Kolkata. Your brother falls asleep upright, cheek on your knee, lulled by tales and the soft percussion of boiling water. Before sleeping, the healer murmurs, history listens to children who survive. His words settle like embers, glowing in the dark. Night splits with distant gunfire, 3 pops, then silence that rings louder. Panic ripples through huts, lamps douse, babies hush, even dogs whimper low. You clutch your brother, pulse hammering. But no boots approach, no torches flare. Perhaps the shots belong to hunters, or deserters, or ghosts. When calm creeps back, you step outside. Moonlight coats the village in pewter, every thatch glints like a dagger laid flat. You breathe, slow, feel ribs expand against ragged cloth, proof of life, fragile yet obstinate. Overhead, Orion steadies his belt, you trace the constellation, gift its pattern to memory, promising to find it again in safer skies. Fear recedes, but the night remains taut, a string tuned to sorrow's pitch. You go inside, sing a lullaby softer than fear, until sleep returns. Sunrise unveils footprints near the grain cars, small, hurried, bare. Someone dared the guards under moonlight. Rumor says a girl cut a sack, filled a shawl, vanished into jute fields. No shots reported. The sentries slept, perhaps on purpose. Her courage becomes legend before breakfast ends. Children recite it like epic verse, each embellishing weight and danger. You imagine her running, rice cascading behind like silver rain, marking a pathway of defiance. In your mind she is safe, sharing spoils with a dozen hidden mouths. Reality may differ, but stories are rations too. They stretch, divide, feed many. You tuck the tale beside your own heartbeat, saving it for nights when courage feels rationed to crumbs. The healer's mustard tonic dulls your mother's fever. Sweat pearls, breaks, and her eyes clear, like monsoon clouds parting. She asks for water, then whispers for rice water, then manages half a bowl. Relief floods you, fierce as the earlier downpour. You almost laugh, almost cry, do both, quietly, so as not to wake the house to hope too loudly. The healer packs his satchels, declines payment again. Pass the kindness forward, he says, walking toward dawn, silhouette stitched with light. Your brother waves until the path swallows the figure, you wave too, promising the wind you will remember. Memory, like seed, waits for the right season. You vow to plant it. Noon heat returns insects in droves, ants to sugarless crumbs, flies to empty bowls. Yet life, in any form, proves the earth is not resigned. You spread neem leaves around the doorway, their scent sharp enough to warn off pests and perhaps despair. Neighbors barter today, a spoon of salt for a slice of dried pumpkin, a strip of cloth for a handful of soap nut. You trade an old brass bangle, once part of your dowry, for 2 fistfuls of lentils. The metal gleams sadly in another's hand, but you feel lighter, fed by possibility. That evening, the lentils bubble with a single clove and the last strand of chili. Aroma drifts out, summons children from shadows. You share bowls, thin but honest. Hunger retreats a heartbeat, and generosity grows too. A letter arrives, creased, rain-stained, bearing your father's name but not his handwriting. It says he is alive, working as a porter near Howrah, sending money when he can. It says keep faith. It says hold on. Coins clink inside the fold, 3 rupees, unimaginable wealth. You pass the paper to your mother, her hands tremble, I spill. You imagine your father amid roaring trains, hauling trunks heavier than sorrows, dreaming of this very moment. That night you light a tiny diya of thanks, oil is scarce, flame brief, gratitude vast. The wick dies, but the glow lingers inside ribs and rafters alike. With the coins you and the village headman ride an ox cart to the market 3 hours away. Stalls are half empty, yet color shocks the eye, turmeric mounds, red chilies, faded saris fluttering like tired flags. You haggle hard, silver speaks louder than please. Return with rice, jaggery crumbs, 1 tin of kerosene, needles, thread, a spool of hope. Children swarm the cart on arrival, marveling at sacks as if they were treasure chests. In truth, they are. That night, the village cooks together in a single grand pot, each family adding a pinch, a leaf, a prayer. When ladles circle, bowls brim, the air tastes of festival. Grief slips away, shy before communal firelight. The communal feast ends with stories by the embers, legends of river goddesses, of kings who hid grain for lean years, of phoenix birds rising from ash. You add your own tale, of seedlings shielded by palm leaves, of salt traded for brass, of a letter that traveled farther than fear. Elders nod, children stare wide-eyed, stars overhead lean closer as if recording every syllable. You realize the famine has taken harvests, health, time, but not voice. And voice can grow bread in barren places. Before sleep, your brother asks, when will it be over? You gather him close, answer honestly, sooner, because we are together. He smiles, drifts off. You watch embers pulse, matching heartbeats, until both fade into quiet faith. At dusk, you sit near the pond. The water level has dropped again. Mud cracks like broken skin along the edge. You remember learning to swim here. Your father teaching you how to hold your breath, how to float. He said, the river gives and the river takes. Now, it only takes. You collect a handful of water. Let it slide through your fingers. Even that simple feeling, wetness, is precious. A woman nearby is washing clothes. Not to clean them, but to stretch the use of the water. You nod. She doesn't nod back. Everyone is shrinking into themselves, afraid to offer more than silence. Your brother calls from the distance. He's found a beetle. A shiny green one. He holds it up proudly. You force a smile. Every day he becomes more bone, less boy. But still, He finds wonder. You walk back together. Slowly. Carefully. He asks, "Will Baba come home soon?" You don't answer. The sky does instead, with its unbroken silence. The morning sun climbs again. Your limbs ache, not from work, but from waiting. You once believed hunger felt like sharp pain. But now you know better. It's dull, like fog in your bones. A heavy silence under your skin. You boil water for tea leaves long used and dried again. The color is pale, like a memory fading. Your brother plays with a stone, pretending it's a mango seed. You want to stop him, to say it's too much. But instead, you smile. A neighbor arrives. She holds a cloth bundle, inside, a few grams of lentils. She wants to trade for firewood. Your mother agrees. You give away what little you had for warmth. And still, it feels like a win. You crush the lentils into a paste. Stretch it with water. It won't fill you. But it'll remind you what food used to feel like. Outside, the air carries no birdsong. Even the crows are quieter now. Later that day, word spreads, a relief camp has opened 2 villages away. You don't wait. You wrap your brother in a shawl and begin walking. The path is unfamiliar. Fields turn to scrub to dust. Along the road, others walk too. Some barefoot. Some in silence. You speak to no one. Not out of fear, but because words are too heavy now. When you reach the camp, it's nothing like you imagined. No tents. Just tarpaulins strung between sticks. A man with a clipboard yells names. None of them are yours. You step forward anyway. Show your hands. Your brother. He nods, hands you a small cloth packet. It smells of flour. You don't wait to thank him. You just turn, clutching the bundle like it's gold. You walk back in dusklight. The packet is still warm. Inside, crushed grains. Not rice. Not wheat. But edible. That's enough. At home, your mother lights a small fire. She mixes the grains with water, salt if there's any. Your brother hums while it boils, a lullaby your father used to sing. Steam rises. It smells better than it tastes. But taste doesn't matter now. You eat in silence. Carefully. Slowly. Each bite is a page in the story of survival. When you finish, your belly is not full. But it's no longer screaming. That's a victory. That night, you sleep a little deeper. In your dreams, rain falls. Not a flood, just enough. It lands on rice fields. On smiling faces. But morning returns, and the dust remains. Your brother points to the cracked wall. A tiny lizard scurries across. He laughs. A full, real laugh. It reminds you, there's still joy in this world. Later, a man visits your home. He brings news. A temple nearby is distributing rice water. You run. Not walk. Run. There's no shame in the chase anymore. At the temple, an old priest ladles water into clay pots. He blesses each one with a whisper. When it's your turn, he touches your forehead. Not with rice. But with dignity. The rice water is thin. But warm. Comforting. You sip it beside the temple steps. A group of women sit nearby, weaving dry grass into mats. One offers you a corner of hers to sit on. You accept. No one speaks. But their presence is a language of its own. For a while, you are not alone. When you rise to leave, one woman smiles. Come tomorrow, she says. You nod. Not just to her, but to the hope that tomorrow still exists. You walk home with the same empty stomach. But a heart that feels a little less hollow. At home, your mother listens to your story. She doesn't cry anymore. But her eyes say enough. You share the rice water. It's barely a sip each. Still, It brings silence. Not the silence of hunger. The silence of peace. Your brother draws lines in the dirt. He says it's a map to a mango orchard. You tell him, when the rains come, we'll find it together. He nods, believing every word. And for a moment, you believe too. Night falls again. Stars gather above like quiet watchers. Your family lies close, 3 bodies in a threadbare row. You whisper a song your mother used to sing before the famine. She hums along, a low, tired melody. Your brother's breath slows. Sleep wraps around him gently. You stay awake a little longer. Thinking. Remembering. Wishing for rice. But also wishing for laughter. For voices. For tomorrow. The next morning, you find a note. Your mother left early. She's gone to ask a distant cousin for help. You keep the fire going. You keep your brother busy. You keep yourself from counting hours. By dusk, she returns. No cousin. No food. Just a broken sandal and blistered feet. You help her sit. You boil more water. You say nothing. And yet, she knows. Tonight, the sky looks darker. But stars still show. Tiny lights, reminders that even in emptiness, something shines. You lie awake again. But this time, it's not from hunger. It's from remembering. The taste of fish curry. The smell of steaming rice. The laughter around a full plate. You whisper the names of lost dishes, like a prayer. Shorshilish. Khichdi. Begun Bhaja. Your brother stirs in his sleep, murmurs, Luchi. You smile. Dreams may not feed the body. But sometimes, they feed the soul. Morning light spills across the dirt floor. You wake slowly. Not from rest, but from habit. Your muscles resist. But the day does not wait. Your mother coughs softly. Your brother still sleeps, mouth open, dreaming perhaps of sweets he's never tasted. You step outside. The sky is gray. No rain, just the color of waiting. The village is quieter now. You pass homes with open doors but no sounds within. You remember names. Faces. All faded like the chalk drawings that once colored the mud walls. At the edge of the village, you sit on an old stump. A woman passes, carrying a child. She nods. You nod back. In famine, this is how friendship works. Not with words, but with presence. A boy runs past you, barefoot. He stops and offers you a tamarind shell, cracked, but still tangy. You thank him. His smile is missing 2 teeth, but it lights the moment like a lamp. Even here, children still play. Back home, your mother weaves a mat from dry reeds. Her fingers are slower now, but they remember the pattern. She used to make these for weddings. For guests. For celebration. Now she makes them to trade, not for coins, but for scraps. You ask if she remembers the time she made a mat shaped like a fish. She smiles faintly. You were 4, she says. You tried to swim on it. You laugh. Not loudly. But enough. Your brother wakes. He sees the tamarind shell you saved. He licks it, his eyes bright. 1 shell. 1 smile. Later, you boil water. Just water. The steam is fragrant with memory. And sometimes, that's enough to feel full. Afternoon brings wind. It whistles through holes in the walls. Your brother builds a fort with broken sticks and a piece of cloth. He says it's a palace. He invites you in. Inside, he offers you air-cooked rice and mango pickles made of pebbles. You eat, pretending to chew, your laughter caught in your throat. He doesn't know hunger like you do. Not yet. You hope he never does. Your mother joins you, ducking under the fort. She pretends too. A queen on a straw throne. The 3 of you sit in the pretend palace and laugh. Outside, nothing changes. But inside that moment, you win. Evening brings visitors, 2 men from a nearby village. They speak of a relief team arriving with a cart of flattened rice and jaggery. Your mother eyes them carefully. Is it real? She asks. They shrug. It was yesterday. Hope is fragile. But you take it. The next morning, you go. Not alone. Others walk with you, a silent pilgrimage. Feet bare. Eyes sunken. But step steady. You arrive to find a table under a banyan tree. A young woman stands behind it, giving handfuls to each family. When it's your turn, she sees your brother. She gives a little extra. You thank her with your eyes. Back home, you make a feast, 3 spoons of flattened rice soaked in water, jaggery melted in. Sweetness touches your tongue. You had forgotten what that was like. That night, you dream of festivals. Of lights strung between banyan trees. Of people dancing, beating drums, tossing flower petals in the air. You see yourself there, in a clean cotton dress. Your brother rides on your shoulders. Your mother claps with the rhythm, her face lit by more than just oil lamps. In the dream, someone offers you a plate. You reach for it, but before your fingers touch, you wake. The darkness is thick. But your breath is calm. Dreams don't fill your stomach. But they feed something deeper. And in famine, every kind of nourishment counts. The next day is quiet. Even the crows have stopped calling. You sweep the floor of your hut, not because it needs it, but because it gives you something to do. Your brother plays outside with a rag ball. Your mother hums an old tune. You haven't heard her hum in weeks. It's not loud. But it's there. She sits at the doorway, weaving another mat. She pauses now and then, eyes far away. You know she's thinking of her own mother. Of better years. Later, she calls you both to sit. She tells you a story, about a tiger that once came to the village but left after hearing a flute. Your brother listens, wide-eyed. You close your eyes. And in that story, you are safe. Days pass. The air grows thicker. Clouds gather, but do not rain. A child in the next hut falls ill. No medicine. No milk. Your mother visits. She brings her last handful of dried tulsi leaves. The child sleeps easier that night. Kindness is also a kind of nutrition. You watch the sky each evening. Waiting. Always waiting. Your brother asks, when will the clouds open? You don't answer. You just hold his hand. One evening, a single drop lands on your arm. Warm. Real. You raise your head. The earth smells ready. But the rain passes quickly. Even blessings are brief here. That night, you write with your finger in the dirt. One word, survive. You underline it. Your brother draws beside you, trees, fish, a sun with too many rays. Your mother joins, scribbling a flower. You laugh. A family of dirt artists. In a time when everything is taken, your fingers still create. That's resistance. That's love. And in this land, where food is memory, love is still real. The drawings wash away with the night dew. But you remember them. Like you remember songs, and smells, and the sound of rice falling into a brass bowl. A week passes. The grain stores remain locked. But one evening, a traveling teacher visits. He carries nothing but words. He gathers the children and begins to recite poems, Tagore, mostly. Your brother sits cross-legged, eyes wide. You watch his lips move silently, trying to follow each line. You remember these poems. You once recited them at school. Now, they return like old friends. Verses about rain, about rivers, about strength. The teacher leaves before dark. No gifts exchanged. But he left behind something larger than grain. He reminded you who you were, before the hunger. And who you still are. You sit with your mother under the stars. She tells you your grandmother once survived a flood. All our rice was gone, she says, but we had each other. You ask, did she lose hope? No, your mother answers. She lost many things. But not that. You think of what you've lost. And what remains. A brother who laughs. A mother who weaves. A sky that still promises change. You close your eyes. The air is still. But inside you, something stirs. Not hunger. But strength. You walk for hours. Your bare feet meet hot soil, scattered thorns, and broken stones. Your brother complains of thirst. You lift him on your back, whisper promises of biscuits, even though you're unsure yourself. The road winds through paddy fields that no longer grow. Brown, cracked earth stretches for miles. You see others walking too, thin silhouettes moving like ghosts. A cart passes by, pulled by a sickly ox. A man lies inside, barely moving. His daughter walks beside him, her hand never leaving his. You reach the edge of a village. Strangers watch you from doorways. Not with welcome, but with caution. Everyone is guarding what little they have. You understand. A small temple stands beneath a neem tree. You sit beneath it. Let your brother sleep in your lap. You eat 2 berries you've saved. He eats 1. You keep the other for morning. Night falls quietly. You trace the stars above, wondering if anyone else, in some other time, is watching these same stars and feeling full. Morning comes with shouting, not panic, but excitement. You rise quickly. A lorry has arrived. Painted letters say relief. People form a line. Long, silent. Hands clutch empty bowls. A young man stands on the lorry, passing down small packets, flour, milk powder, something sweet-smelling. When your turn comes, your brother claps. You collect the packet, bow slightly in gratitude. That afternoon, you mix the powder with water. The taste is foreign, slightly sweet, soft on the tongue. Your brother grins with every bite. You don't finish yours. You save half for later. Others celebrate, some even sing. Quietly, unsure if joy is still allowed. One woman dances, her bones sharp beneath her sari. People clap. Then cry. That evening, you light a small diya by the temple. Not for gods. But for this moment. Relief doesn't erase grief. But for tonight, you are simply fed. You meet a man beside the temple. He's from Calcutta. His voice is strong, though his hands tremble. He tells stories of ration lines that stretch for hours. Of British officers who ignore pleas. He says the famine isn't only from nature. It's from war. From greed. You don't understand it all. But you feel the injustice settle into your chest like a stone. He points to a newspaper, wrinkled, worn. You read words you barely grasp. Export. Winston Churchill. Denial policy. You blink. The names don't matter. But the weight does. People are dying, and somewhere, someone let it happen. That night, you stare at the sky again. Wonder how power and hunger can live side by side. Your brother dreams. You stay awake, counting every breath. A week passes. The relief workers move to another village. The lorry disappears down the road, kicking up dust that settles into silence. Food dwindles again. But now you know where to walk, where to wait. You meet a girl near the river. Her name is Anila. She's older. Her parents gone. She teaches you how to make a fire from cow dung, how to catch fish with a thread and nail. Your brother laughs more with her. You notice how he runs, how he doesn't look back as much. Anila gives him a carved stick, a toy sword. He waves it proudly. In this strange time, friendship feels like rebellion. Against hunger. Against despair, news travels. More grain has been sent, but only to cities. Villages must wait. You look at your mother's face, hollow-eyed, calm. Too calm. She sits longer each day in silence, looking at a crack on the wall as if it holds answers. You take on more. Fetch water, grind roots. Bargain for rice husk, barely edible. Anila shows you a trick, boiling banana peels with salt. It fools the stomach. Your brother doesn't know it's trickery. He believes it's dinner. One evening, your mother calls you over. She hands you an old scarf. Worn but warm. /N? /N for your walk tomorrow, she says. You nod, even though you hadn't told her you were leaving. /N? /N maybe mothers always know. Even when words are scarce. /N. The path winds through groves and empty fields. Every few meters, you pass someone sitting in silence, too tired to move, too weak to speak. Your brother grows quiet as well. His hand in yours, limp but trusting. You reach a checkpoint where a soldier stands with a notebook. He wears the British uniform, sharp, clean, distant. He asks your name, your village, and your purpose. You answer quietly. He waves you past. No warmth in his eyes. Beyond the trees, you spot tents. A long queue is already formed. You join it, feeling the sun bite your back, but you stay. Because in front of you, children walk away holding packets of food. When it's your turn, the man behind the table hands you a tin of powdered milk and 4 biscuits. 4. Enough for one evening of silence, without hunger screaming. Your brother looks at you and smiles. And that smile, that's more nourishing than any biscuit. You walk back home slower. The air is warm, but no longer cruel. The smell of roasted peanuts floats from a distant vendor. You stop, tempted, but keep walking. Every coin matters. Every step must lead home. You pass fields once lush with rice. Now barren, they stretch out like forgotten memories. Your brother hums softly. A tune your mother used to sing. You join in, quietly. Music, fragile, but healing. Even now. When you reach home, your mother looks up, eyes widening at the sight of the biscuits. She doesn't eat one. Instead, she breaks hers in half, placing the pieces beside your father's photo. Offerings, not out of religion, but remembrance. That night, as you share the milk and 1 biscuit each, your brother speaks of his dream. A feast. Not of food, but of laughter. The days pass slowly, measured by hunger and hope. A letter arrives, folded tightly, addressed in a handwriting you haven't seen in months. It's from your uncle in Kolkata. He writes of rations, of political protests, of trains that come empty and leave emptier. He writes that he tried to send rice, but it was seized. He sends money instead. A few rupees, wrapped in cloth. Your mother holds the coins like they're holy. You use them to buy a handful of lentils. You carry them back like treasure. That evening, you make a thin dal. Your brother eats quietly, slowly, savoring every drop. You watch your mother sleep for the first time in days without tossing. Peace, even brief, is a miracle. And in 1943 Bengal, miracles are rationed too. A new visitor comes to the village. He carries a camera and a notebook. He doesn't speak Bengali well, but smiles often. People are wary. But he asks permission, bows gently, takes photos. Of homes, of faces, of eyes that say more than mouths can. He asks you to write your name. You hesitate, then write it in shaky letters. He says your story matters. That people in far places must know. You're unsure if that changes anything. But it feels like something. Later, he leaves. Promises to send help. You don't expect it. But for one day, someone saw you. Not as a number. Not as a body. But as a life. That night, your brother whispers in the dark. He asks why the gods are silent. You don't have answers. Only stories. So you tell him one, about a tiger who became a star to watch over children. He listens, eyes wide, imagining the sky full of guardians. He asks if Papa is a star too. You nod. And in that moment, you believe it. Because belief is sometimes all that's left. Outside, the wind shifts. Leaves rustle gently, as if someone out there is listening too. You close your eyes. And sleep, not because the world is better, but because your story must continue. Even in darkness, the road is rough beneath your feet. Stones poke through the thin soles of your sandals. But you walk on, one step after another. Your brother skips ahead, still young enough to pretend it's a game. You pass others on the same path, some heading to the rumored relief site, others returning empty-handed. You look into their eyes. You already know the truth before they speak. There wasn't enough, one woman says. They brought food, but it ran out in an hour. She clutches her child close, sunken cheeks pressing into her shoulder. Your heart sinks. But your mother always says, when food runs out, keep walking. Sometimes, it's not the food you find, but something else. You reach the village square just before midday. Tents stand like ghosts, silent and empty. A sign flaps in the wind, written in English. You can't read it, but someone says it once said, Relief Camp. Now, only footprints remain. Still, you sit in the dirt. Just in case. Because sometimes, waiting is all the power you have left. The heat rises off the ground like breath. Flies buzz in your ears. You fan your brother with your dupatta, shielding him from the sun. Around you, more families gather. Some with hope. Some just because it feels better to wait together. A man sits nearby, scribbling in a notebook. He wears round glasses and a khaki shirt. He introduces himself softly, a local teacher, writing about what he sees. You ask why. Because stories must be remembered, he says. He asks for your name. You give it. He nods, writes carefully. Then he leans forward, voice low. Someday, someone will ask what happened here. They'll search for truth among statistics. But numbers forget. Stories remember. You sit in silence after he leaves. Your stomach aches with hunger. But somehow, your heart feels just a little fuller. Because today, your story was written down. By late afternoon, whispers begin again. A truck is coming. From the city. You rise, dust off your clothes, eyes straining toward the horizon. And then you hear it, an engine. Not fast, not loud, but steady. The truck appears, gray and square. People rush to surround it. A man stands atop it, shouting names. Only registered families today. You step forward anyway, heart pounding. He checks his list. Shakes his head. You aren't on it. Your brother clutches your side. You don't move. You just watch as others take rice, flour, and powdered milk. Eventually, someone notices you. An old woman. She presses something into your hand. A single banana. Take it, child, she says. It was mine. But you need it more. You whisper, thank you. But she's already turned away. And for the second time in a single day, you are seen. You walk home slowly. Your brother eats half the banana and gives you the rest. You hesitate, but he insists. It tastes like sweetness and sunlight. Like the memory of before. The road curves. You pass men playing cards, not for money, but for distraction. Women wash scraps of cloth, not to wear, but to barter. Everything is trade now. You pass a poster peeling from a wall. It says, Victory to Britain. And you wonder, whose victory? Not yours. Your mother greets you at the door. She doesn't ask for food. She just looks at your face. She knows. That night, you lie awake again. The stars overhead are silent, but present. You wonder if people in other places look up at the same sky and feel full. Here, even the night is hungry. Morning again. A rooster crows, weakly. Your body aches. Your mother's cough is worse. You gather neem leaves to boil in water, the only medicine you have left. Outside, the village square is quiet. No new rumors today. No visitors. But in your small clay home, your brother is drawing in the dust, lines and shapes, a house with smoke from the chimney. You ask him what he's making. He says, our future house. With food inside. You smile. Not because it's true. But because he believes it. And belief, once again, proves stronger than despair. You boil water. Break the last biscuit into pieces. The day will be long. But it begins, not with sorrow, but with a sketch in dust. You follow the road east, the sun creeping up behind low clouds. It's a long walk, longer than you expected. Your brother asks if you're sure this place exists. You say yes, not because you know, but because he needs to hear it. Each mile feels heavier. You pass burned fields, their soil cracked and bare. Once, these lands fed entire villages. Now, they feed only dust. You come across a child sitting under a neem tree, holding an empty pot. You ask where she's from. She says nothing, only lifts the pot as if to show you what hunger looks like. You leave her a piece of dried mango. It's all you have. Your brother frowns, but says nothing. He understands. This journey, like everything now, is about choosing who gets to eat, and who has to wait. When you finally spot the village in the distance, your feet ache, your stomach churns. But your heart races. Because maybe, just maybe, the rumors were true. The village ahead buzzes with noise. People line up, wrapping around old school walls, clutching sacks, tin cans, folded cloth. Relief has arrived. And you, for once, are not too late. A white tent stands near a banyan tree. Inside, crates of milk powder, packets of jaggery, boxes of dried biscuits. A woman with a clipboard calls names. Not yours, but you step forward anyway, pleading. She frowns. Your brother clutches your side. His eyes are wide, lips cracked. Finally, the woman sighs. She breaks a packet in half. Hands it to you. That's all I can spare, she says. You bow your head, thank her softly. The biscuit is stale but sweet. It tastes like kindness. You let your brother eat first. For the first time in weeks, you eat without guilt. Only quiet relief. As the sun lowers, the crowd begins to thin. Some received food, some walked away empty-handed. You find a corner beneath the banyan and rest. A young man joins you. He's wearing a tattered uniform, British issued. Deserter, someone whispers. But the man doesn't hide. He pulls out a small packet and offers you a sweet toffee from an army ration. You hesitate, then accept. He says he left the army after watching crates of rice shipped out of Calcutta while children died on the streets. He couldn't fight a war abroad while losing one at home. You ask him if he regrets it. He stares into the horizon. I regret too many things, he says. But not this. The sun glows red as it sinks. That night, you sleep beneath the tree, holding the last half of the biscuit, saving it for morning. You wake before dawn. The village is quiet, shadows long and cool. Your brother sleeps with his head on your lap. You smooth his hair and listen. The birds are singing. Not many, but enough to make you pause. You hear the clang of metal, relief workers boiling water, setting up for another day. Today, you decide to help. You carry crates, sweep the floor, sort supplies. No one asks why a girl from a starving village is working without pay. But a woman notices. She smiles and hands you an extra tin of milk powder. Kindness should be rewarded, she says. You hold the tin like treasure. For the first time in months, you feel not just alive, but useful. Not just a mouth to feed, but hands that can help. And that feeling, more than food, gives you strength. By midday, the sun blazes. You shade your brother under a cart, then return to work. A doctor arrives, tired eyes, worn shoes, but gentle hands. He checks children for fevers, distributes small white pills. When it's your turn, he asks how long since your last full meal. You say, I don't remember. He gives you a protein biscuit and a bottle of glucose water. Your hands tremble as you drink. It tastes like strength. You thank him, but he just smiles. This isn't charity, he says. It's what you deserve. And those words stay with you longer than the food. That night, you write in the dirt with your finger, your name, your brother's name, and the word, hope. Because now, it feels okay to believe in tomorrow. The walk is long, and the sun soon climbs high. Your sandals gave out weeks ago, so your feet bear the brunt, cracked, blistered, tough like worn leather. Your brother slows down beside you, asking if it's far. You don't know. But you tell him, just a little more. The words feel practiced now, like a song you repeat to survive. Around you, others walk too. A mother with a child wrapped in a faded shawl. An old man with eyes that look too tired to hope. No one talks much. The silence is shared. Eventually, a tree line appears, and beyond it, the shape of tents. White canvas glints in the sun like something holy. You exhale, the first real breath you've taken all day. Your brother's steps pick up. He smiles, and it's crooked but true. The relief camp is real. And sometimes, that's enough to keep moving. The camp smells of salt and boiled milk. You never thought that scent could make you emotional. But here you are, blinking fast, mouth dry with longing. An orderly guides you to a line. Children cry in the distance. A man mutters prayers under his breath. At the head of the queue, volunteers ladle something warm into metal bowls. Your brother clutches yours with shaking fingers. You help him drink slowly. His hands are too weak to hold steady. It's thin rice porridge, almost flavorless. But to your empty belly, it tastes like home. A nurse examines him, checks for fever, presses his abdomen. She frowns, but then gives you powdered medicine. You nod, pocketing it like treasure. You've waited weeks for food. Now you wait for strength. And you'll keep waiting. Because it means he still lives. Night falls in the camp like a quiet blanket. Tents rustle in the wind, and distant snores mix with occasional coughs. You lie on a jute mat, your brother's head on your shoulder. Your stomach still aches, but it's not empty anymore. Volunteers walk between rows with lanterns, checking on the sick. You see a young doctor, his eyes tired but kind, stop at a tent and kneel beside a girl. He whispers a lullaby while her mother weeps. The song drifts through the camp. You remember your grandmother humming it once. Before the famine. Before the silence. Tonight, it feels like the world hasn't ended. Just paused. And maybe, just maybe, it's ready to begin again. Morning light seeps into the camp slowly, casting everything in soft gold. You wake to birdsong, not loud, but real. You sit up and see your brother already awake, watching the birds with curiosity. He doesn't look as pale today. You press your fingers to his forehead. Still warm, but not burning. He smiles. Not big. But enough. You help him stand, walk toward the food tent again. There's a different meal today, dal and rice. The smell makes your stomach twist in anticipation. You eat slowly, letting the warmth sink into your bones. Another volunteer hands out soap and cloths. You bathe your brother behind a tent, scrubbing away layers of dust and weeks of sorrow. He giggles. The sound makes you laugh, too. And for the first time in months, it feels like life is possible again. You sit by the edge of the camp, looking out at the road. The same road that once brought you here in desperation. Now it feels different. Not safe, not yet. But not hopeless either. Your brother comes and leans against you, holding a tin cup filled with rice water. You both sip in silence. A man nearby strums a broken ektara, humming a soft tune. The camp feels like a fragile pocket of humanity stitched into a torn world. You think of home. Of the courtyard. Of the pond, and the guava tree, and your father's stories. You don't know if you'll ever return. But someday, you tell yourself, someone will. And they'll rebuild what was broken. One seed, one smile, one story at a time. In 1943 Bengal, you learned what survival costs. But today, you remember what it gives back. The road stretches beneath your aching feet. Your brother clutches your hand, his grip looser than usual. You whisper stories to distract him, of rivers made of milk, of mango trees that laugh. He smiles faintly. That's enough. As you pass the paddy fields, you notice they've turned ghostly, just cracked earth and thin stalks. You remember what they once were, lush and alive. Back then, your father walked through them humming old Tagore tunes. Now they stand like silent witnesses to what's gone. A distant rumble startles you. A truck passes. Soldiers inside. British uniforms. They don't look at you. Just keep driving, leaving a cloud of dust behind. You cough, shielding your brother. Dust, the taste of hunger, the color of forgetting. By midday, the heat swells like a fever. You rest beneath a neem tree, the leaves barely casting shade. Your brother is too tired to speak. You fan him gently with your scarf. You reach into your cloth bag, a pinch of flattened rice. He chews slowly. The grains stick to his lips. You remember a time when he was chubby, laughing with rice stuck to his cheeks. Now, he's thin as the handle of a broom. Another family passes. A woman carries a baby in one arm, a clay pot in the other. Her eyes are hollow. Her pace is slow. You nod to each other. That is how solidarity looks now, wordless, bone deep. The road continues. And so do you. Not out of strength. But out of something stronger, the refusal to stop. A makeshift camp appears by a dried riverbed. Torn saris strung between bamboo sticks. Clay stove shaped by hand. You approach carefully, unsure if strangers will be welcome. A woman waves you over. She offers a tin cup of rice water. Your brother drinks first, then you. It tastes of ash and grit, but you're grateful. She asks where you're from. You tell her, a village near Barisal. She nods. Says hers was near Khulna. Was. There's silence. Loss needs no explanation between survivors. That night, you sleep beside her family under shared cloth. The stars blink above, distant and indifferent. But you hold your brother close, and that feels like enough sky for now. At dawn, smoke curls from small fires. Someone managed to find lentils. There's chatter in the camp, cautious, hopeful. You help fetch water from a shallow trench. The mud sticks to your feet like memory. Your brother coughs, and your heart lurches. But his fever's gone, replaced with quiet energy. He helps stack twigs for the cooking fire. The woman from last night offers you both a bowl of watery dal. You thank her with both hands. She says it's a debt she can never repay, someone once did the same for her. You nod. That's how kindness travels in famine, hand to hand, soul to soul. You eat in silence, and the silence doesn't feel empty. It feels full. Later that day, a man arrives on foot, tall, thin, with a clipboard and a British badge. He speaks Bengali with a strange accent. He says a new shipment of aid is coming. Biscuits. Milk powder. Some quinine. But only for registered households. You step forward. We have no papers, you say. He frowns. Then I cannot help you. The woman beside you cries out, her papers were lost in a storm. He shrugs and leaves. You stare after him, your hands balled into fists. Paper. He spoke of it as if it outweighed breath. Your brother whispers, what now? You place a hand on his head. Now, you say, we wait again. And we hope louder than we fear. You walk for hours, your feet blistered and raw. The sun stares down like a silent overseer. But you don't stop. Along the way, more families join, children clutching tin bowls, mothers with shawls over hollow eyes. No one speaks much. Words feel like luxuries. Finally, you reach the relief center, a cleared field, a few tents, crates stacked haphazardly. Volunteers move quickly, handing out small packets. You hold your brother tighter. You edge forward in the line. When it's your turn, they hand you a metal tin. Milk powder. You almost forget to say, thank you. Your brother stares at it as if it's treasure. And in 1943 Bengal, it is. Not just food, proof that something good can still arrive. That night, a fire is built. Not for cooking, but for gathering. Old men sit in a circle, recounting tales of when the Ganges overflowed with silver fish. A girl recites poetry from memory, verses of Tagore, soft and trembling. You listen. Your brother rests against you, full for the first time in days. The stars peer down, indifferent but beautiful. In their light, the cracked feet and torn saris seem softer. You realize, hunger has not killed hope. Not yet. As the fire dims, a man plays a flute made from bamboo. Its song is lonely. But not broken. In 1943, songs are survival too. They remind you of who you are, and who you still might be. That night, a fire is built. Not for cooking, but for gathering. Old men sit in a circle, recounting tales of when the Ganges overflowed with silver fish. A girl recites poetry from memory, verses of Tagore, soft and trembling. You listen. Your brother rests against you, full for the first time in days. The stars peer down, indifferent but beautiful. In their light, the cracked feet and torn saris seem softer. You realize, hunger has not killed hope. Not yet. As the fire dims, a man plays a flute made from bamboo. Its song is lonely. But not broken. In 1943, songs are survival too. They remind you of who you are, and who you still might be.